Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you again for inviting me to speak on behalf of Ford Motor Company. It's been about 5 years since Ford made the commitment to lead or be amongst the leaders in fuel economy in every segment in which we compete. Now, there are probably some folks in this room that were actually with us when we made that original announcement, and perhaps you've been following us along the way as we've made our progress. So it's nice to have the opportunity this afternoon to share a little more about that progress and let you know about a few more interesting items that we've added to our global fuel economy portfolio. Okay. There we go. Now, any discussion of technology at Ford is best framed around what we call our technology innovation pillars. And this is probably something that's familiar to a lot of you. We actually use dialogue around this in some of our media and some of our just general media information. The foundation for the pillars is the first one, which is quality, and it basically forms the base for everything that we do, delivering with quality. Then there are 3 other pillars: sustainability, which is our green pillar, and that'll be the focus of my discussion today; safety, our safe pillar; and then design, our smart pillar. So let me touch on the other 2 that we're not going to talk about today, just to give you an idea what strategies are encompassed in there. In the design, or the smart pillar, that really reflects 2 things. It reflects our commitment to provide absolute leadership in the designs that we, interior and exterior designs that we deliver to our customers. Designs that are very emotive, designs that they love and that they want. In addition, it encompasses how they interface with those designs, with those vehicles, whether it's the complexities of the infotainment system that they've elected to put in their product or to put in their particular vehicle, or something as straightforward as interfacing with our capless fuel system when they go to refuel their vehicle. On safety, our strategy there is pretty straightforward. We want to make sure that we always achieve our public domain targets and our third-party recommended buys. We also have to make sure that we deliver safety technology, then feature content that's equal or better than our competition. And in addition, provide those surprise and delight items, those breakthrough technologies that a customer might not have been actually looking for. Things like the inflatable seatbelt that we've recently announced and introduced. And on the sustainability side, it's pretty straightforward. It's to make a tangible difference in our CO2 footprint by improving our fuel economy and leading the way in reducing CO2 emissions. It also encompasses recyclability and renewable materials, and in fact, the placemats that we left on everyone's chair kind of identify some of the materials that were part of the lunch that we're also working on back in our research labs at Ford to try to turn into materials, fabrics, content for our cars of the future. And sustainability also encompasses things like air quality, making sure that the in-vehicle air quality is where we want it, is as clean and purified for our customers as possible. So that kind of forms the foundation for our technology strategies going forward. What provides some of the external stimulus for developing those strategies, of course, I think everyone in here is very familiar with, and that's energy security. In the U.S., I think we all know that the increase in energy demand translates into increasing concerns about national energy security. Today, more than 60% of U.S. oil is imported from foreign sources. And the slide says current volatility in gasoline prices, but I think that volatility has gone on so long that having the word current in front of it isn't really pertinent anymore. There's a continuous volatility that we will see in fuel prices going forward as those fuel prices overall continue to inch and edge their way higher and higher. So you have to take that into account when you're developing technologies to deliver to customers into our products. So when we do that, we said, because everything at Ford also comes back to the customer, what is it we want to deliver to our customers? We wanted to make fuel economy a reason to buy. We wanted fuel economy, first and foremost, to be something that customers think about when they think about Ford, that we deliver better than anyone else there. We want to be best in segment, fuel economy, for every new or significantly refreshed vehicle. The only way to deliver on a reason to buy like fuel economy is to physically deliver the goods. You have to have the product in the showroom that delivers on that promise. That means having a showroom fuel economy that's completely competitive with the rest of the choices that consumers have out there right now. But there's one more thing I'd like to say about showroom and fuel economy competitiveness. To ensure customer satisfaction, because that's what we're really looking at, in real-world fuel economy, you really have to meet or exceed what's written on that label or what's printed on that label in the showroom for customers to really feel satisfied that they've gotten what they had thought they would get with that vehicle. And at Ford, we believe very strongly in truth in advertising. And in our quality surveys, our own internal surveys, our data shows us that we're doing a good job there. We are consistently ranked number 1, 2, or 3 in terms of customer satisfaction in every segment that we compete with respect to our fuel economy delivery. The other thing our surveys tell us is that we're not delivering that fuel economy at the expense of anything else, any other attributes that the customer is looking for, because in some of the areas where we survey customers, like performance feel, performance from a launch, or a performance feel when you're in a passing maneuver, we're also rating number 1 and beating our competitors for that. This next slide may be familiar to some of you. We have been using it for pretty much the 5 years that we've been on this sustainability journey. And when we started in 2007, which is why it's up there, we divided our sustainability strategy into the near, the mid, and the long-term strategies. And then we tried to categorize what technologies, what features, how we would go about that in the near, mid, and long term. So the near term is pretty much gone, and now our midterm has become the near term. So between that time frame, 2007 to today, we really leveraged existing technologies that were not in our advanced research organizations or that were still on the drawing board. They were technologies we knew that we could offer to our customers in larger volume and start introducing into our products to march forward on that sustainability promise. They were technologies like electric power steering, battery management system, improvements in our aerodynamics. And one technology that I'm going to talk a little bit more about that started in that near-term 2007 through 11 timeframe was our EcoBoost technologies, and I'll talk about what that engine strategy is. As you head into the midterm, so where are we now? Because midterm has become now. We're really rolling out those fuel economy strategies at a larger percentage across all our vehicles. So our EcoBoost engines, they're available in nearly all of our vehicles today. Electric power steering, it's across almost everything. 6-speed transmissions, virtually every vehicle in Ford has at least a 6-speed transmission now. Some of the things that are still to come as part of this midterm strategy, the key one is weight reductions. We've set a target for ourselves between 2011 and out to, say, 2017 to deliver between 250 and 750 pounds when we redo a vehicle platform. That's a really substantial amount of weight, and the reason that's important is it sets you on a path that I like to refer to as the virtual circle. The more weight you can take out of a vehicle, the smaller you can go in the displacement of the engine that subsequently propels that vehicle. And in the sustainability world, the biggest single lever you can pull is engine displacement. To go down in engine displacement gives you the best opportunity to improve your fuel economy, and substantial weight reductions is another enabler to further allow that strategy. Now, out in 2030 in the long term, I'd say your crystal balls are probably as good as mine. Certainly electrification will be a player out, and a continued increasing player out in the long term. However, the rate at which we see penetration of those types of products is going to really depend on two things. Breakthroughs in technology for the batteries themselves to overcome some of the limitations in the technologies now, particularly around range. And also the infrastructure has to be there. So a government's willingness or utilities' willingness or private industry's willingness to put up the infrastructure that supports the confidence in owning those and supports the, owning those electric vehicles in large volume also has to be there. Now, one of the technologies that I want to spend a few minutes on is our EcoBoost technology. Because it has been the foundation of our fuel economy strategy. Just so we're all, baseline, most of you probably know this because it's become, I'd say, an industry standard now in terms of futuring engines. But EcoBoost is basically taking an engine, downsizing the displacement, and then through direct injection, so fuel directly into the cylinder, and turbocharging, maintaining the performance feel of that larger displacement naturally aspirated engine. The reason that we went down this path as the foundation for our sustainability strategy were a few reasons. Number one, this is real fuel delivered in any driving cycle. That smaller displacement is there whether you're driving mostly in the city, mostly in the highway, or somewhere in between. So it's not something that is oriented just towards a particular driving pattern. It gives you that great fuel economy improvement across the board. Secondly, it's affordable. I mentioned that one of our key objectives, pretty straightforward, was to reduce our CO2 footprint. You can't do that in our business, in the automotive business, unless you're able to provide that technology to millions of customers. Providing a technology to 10,000, 50,000, even 100,000 customers isn't going to change your CO2 footprint. We sell globally over 6 million vehicles, just Ford Motor Company. So you have to be able to reach millions of your customers with the technology, or you're really not delivering on that CO2 promise. And EcoBoost was definitely a way for us to do that. Next slide really just kind of illustrates what has been an unprecedented amount of investment that we've put into our powertrain lineup during that 5-year, was near term, is now history period. We have basically upgraded or developed all new engines that had sustainability first and foremost on the design board. Our goal was to introduce 60 new global powertrains by 2013, and we are well past the 50% mark right now in terms of hitting that objective. This year alone, we not only have the freshest vehicle lineup amongst full-line automakers, we also have the freshest powertrain lineup. And we've improved our fuel economy from the smallest Fiesta all the way up to the largest Super Duty that we sell. Let me expand on that a little bit. Typically in this industry, in the automotive industry, when we talk about fuel economy, we talk about small cars, we talk about them getting even smaller, we talk about reducing all the size of everything in a vehicle, et cetera. But fuel economy is not the sole domain of small vehicles. We have an incredibly important customer at Ford, and they purchase our F-Series trucks because they need that capability to do their job. That truck is their work tool. It's an extension of their work. A landscaper isn't going to pull his equipment behind a Fiesta any more than a general contractor is going to pull up to his or her construction site with all of their equipment loaded into a Focus. They need fuel economy, and fuel economy and cost of ownership are very important to that customer, as well as their ability to make a purchase that supports their environmental conscientiousness. That's why our revamped powertrain goes across our entire lineup. In fact, this year, we replaced all the engines in our F-Series trucks. We introduced a V6, and we introduced an EcoBoost engine into our lineup for our F-Series customers. Now, we maintained the V8s that they know and love, and we've given them the choice in terms of fuel economy, in terms of what's important to them. And one of the interesting things we've seen over the 6 months that we've had the EcoBoost engine available to our customers, the take rate on that EcoBoost has been much higher than we had originally planned when we were doing our initial planning assumption on engine distribution. I think it says two things. It says that the truck customer is also interested in and willing to accept new technology, and they are clearly interested in having and making the right choice from a fuel economy perspective. So where are we overall on our EcoBoost outlook? And as I said, this is one of the pillars of our sustainability. We started EcoBoost rollout in 2009, actually in a tourist show. It's now available on the Flex, on the F-150, the Lincoln MKS, the Lincoln MKT, and this year, very shortly, like really shortly, I should check my watch type shortly, you'll be seeing a 2-liter i4 rollout on our Edge and our Explorer, once again giving us best-in-class fuel economy delivery. But we have not stopped there. We have another member of our EcoBoost family that we recently announced, a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine, which will also be a global engine. It'll certainly be available in North America. However, that is probably a discussion for another presentation at another time, so more to come on that. So that's the gist of it in the powertrain, in the engine, powertrain, transmission world. What I'd like to do, though, is talk about what it really takes to deliver class-leading fuel economy. And I like to describe it with my team all the time, that delivering best-in-class fuel economy is a team sport. It takes detailed attention to every aspect of the vehicle if you're going to deliver on that fuel economy promise.